Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. Jasper's heart raced as he made the final adjustments to the quantum teleportation device. This was it. Years of research culminating in one moment that could change everything. He took a deep breath, steadying his hands on the control panel. Initiating teleportation sequence in 3, 2, 1. He pressed the button. A blinding flash of light engulfed him. Jasper felt his body dissolve, atoms scattering across space and time. When his vision cleared, he found himself surrounded by towering bioluminescent plants, their ethereal glow casting strange shadows. This was definitely not his lab. Holy sh... Jasper cut himself off, stumbling backwards. His foot caught on a root and he tumbled to the ground with an undignified yelp. Groaning, he pushed himself up and fumbled for his communicator. The screen was cracked, sparks flying from exposed wires. No, 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 he muttered, tapping frantically at his teleportation bracelet. Nothing happened. Come on, you piece of... A rustling in the undergrowth made him freeze. Glowing eyes peered out from between the foliage. Jasper's breath caught in his throat as several tall, blue-skinned humanoids emerged into the clearing. One of them, a striking female with bioluminescent patterns swirling across her skin, stepped forward. Her eyes widened as she took in Jasper's appearance. She spoke, her words incomprehensible to Jasper but melodious. Jasper raised his hands in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "I come in peace," he said slowly, not expecting to be understood. To his shock, the woman's eyes lit up with recognition. She tapped a small device on her wrist, and when she spoke again, her words came out in perfect English. "Fascinating," she breathed, circling him slowly. "I've never seen a species quite like you before. What manner of creature are you?" Jasper gaped at her, struggling to find his voice. "I'm a human, from Earth. Name's Jasper." He gave an awkward little wave. "Don't suppose you could tell me where exactly I am? And how can you understand me?" The woman's head tilted curiously. "Earth? I'm unfamiliar with that planet. You're on Zorgon 9. She gestured to herself. "I am Kreia, lead xenobiologist of the Zorgonian Science Academy. As for understanding you, we have universal translators. Your language was easy for it to decode." "Zorgon 9? Jasper's knees went weak. That's not possible. I was just in my lab on Earth. The teleporter must have malfunctioned, sent me way off course." Kreia's eyes lit up. "Teleporter? You have mastered instantaneous matter transportation?" "Well, mastered might be a bit of an overstatement," Jasper admitted with a grimace. Kreia turned to her companion, speaking rapidly in a musical language Jasper couldn't understand. They nodded and dispersed back into the forest. "Come," she said, offering Jasper her hand. "You must tell me everything about this teleportation technology, and in return, I can help you acclimate to our world until we can find a way to return you home." Jasper hesitated for a moment before taking her hand. A tingle ran up his arm at the contact. Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks." As they walked, Jasper couldn't help but stare at Kreia. Her skin seemed to shimmer with an inner light, patterns shifting and changing with her movements. It was mesmerizing. "So," he said, trying to break the awkward silence. "You're a xenobiologist? That's pretty cool. I'm a biologist too, actually. Focused more on genetics and molecular bio, though." Kreia's eyes lit up. "How fascinating. Perhaps we could compare notes on our respective fields. I'd be very interested to learn about Earth biology." "Oh yeah, for sure." Jasper grinned. "I'd love to hear about Zorgonian biology too. Like, how does your bioluminescence work? Is it chemical, bioelectricity?" "A combination of both, actually," Kreia explained excitedly. "Our skin contains specialized organelles that They continued chatting animatedly as they made their way through the glowing forest. Despite the strangeness of his situation, Jasper found himself relaxing in Krea's presence. Her enthusiasm was infectious. As they walked, Jasper's foot caught on another root. He stumbled, pitching forward. Krea caught him, her strong arms wrapping around his waist. "Careful," she murmured, her face inches from his. "The forest can be treacherous for those unfamiliar with it." Jasper's breath caught in his throat. This close, he could see flecks of silver in her violet eyes. "Right," he said hoarsely. "Thanks." Neither of them moved for a long moment. Then Krea seemed to catch herself, stepping back quickly. Was it his imagination, or had her cheeks darkened to a deeper shade of blue? "We should continue," she said briskly. "The research facility isn't far now." As they resumed walking, Jasper couldn't help but sneak glances at Krea. She was unlike any woman he'd ever met. Brilliant, exotic, captivating. He found himself hoping his stay on Zorgon 9 might last a while. The research facility turned out to be a massive structure of gleaming crystal and living plants, seamlessly blended together. Krea led him through winding corridors to a large laboratory. "This will be your workspace while you're here," she explained. "I've instructed my team to give you full access to our equipment and databases." Jasper whistled, taking in the advanced technology. "This is incredible. Thank you, Krea. I don't know how to repay your kindness." She waved a hand dismissively. "No repayment necessary. The opportunity to study a new species is payment enough." Her eyes twinkled mischievously. "Though I do expect you to submit to a full physical examination." Jasper choked. What?" Krea laughed, a musical sound that sent shivers down his spine. "For science, of course. We must document your biology thoroughly." "Right, of course, for science." Jasper tugged at his collar, suddenly feeling warm. Over the next few days, Jasper threw himself into his work, dividing his time between trying to repair his teleporter and exchanging knowledge with Krea. They fell into an easy rhythm, bouncing ideas off each other and delving deep into discussions of comparative xenobiology. Jasper found himself captivated not just by the alien world around him, but by Krea herself. Her brilliant mind, her dry wit, the way her eyes lit up when she made a new discovery. He caught himself staring more than once, admiring the graceful way she moved and the mesmerizing patterns that danced across her skin. For her part, Krea seemed equally fascinated by him. She peppered him with questions about Earth and human culture, hanging on his every word. Her touch lingered whenever they worked closely together, sending sparks through Jasper's body. One evening, as they were poring over some genetic sequencing data, Krea suddenly looked up at him with an intense expression. "Jasper," she said seriously, "there's something I've been wanting to ask you." His heart skipped a beat. "Yeah?" "Your hair." She reached out, running her fingers through his unruly brown locks. "How does it maintain its shape without any apparent muscular structures or rigid support?" Jasper blinked, thrown by the unexpected question. Then he burst out laughing. "It's just how it grows," he explained, still chuckling. "We style it with various products to keep it in place." Krea's brow furrowed adorably. "Fascinating. And is it true that it continues to grow throughout your lifespan? How do you prevent it from becoming unmanageable?" "We cut it," Jasper said, amused by her intense curiosity about something so mundane. "Here, feel it." He took her hand and guided it to his hair. Krea's eyes widened as she ran her fingers through it, marveling at the texture. "It's so soft," she murmured. Her face was very close to his now, violet eyes locked on his own. Jasper's breath caught in his throat. The air between them seemed to crackle with tension. Almost without thinking, he started to lean in. Krea jerked back suddenly, nearly toppling off her chair. "I just remembered." she exclaimed a bit too loudly. "There's a thing, a very important science thing I need to check on, right now." She practically fled the lab, leaving a confused and slightly hurt Jasper behind. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. Maybe he'd misread the signals, cultural differences and all that. The next day, things were awkward between them. Kreia seemed determined to maintain a professional distance, keeping their interaction strictly work-related. Jasper tried to respect her boundaries, but he couldn't help feeling disappointed. As they were wrapping up their work for the day, Jasper decided to clear the air. "Hey, Kreia," he said hesitantly. "About last night. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. I didn't mean to overstep any boundaries." Kreia's shoulders tensed. "It's fine," she said stiffly, not meeting his eyes. "I simply realized that our relationship was becoming unprofessional. It's best if we maintain some distance." Jasper's heart sank. "Right, of course. I understand." An awkward silence fell between them. Jasper fidgeted with his equipment, trying to think of something to say to salvage the situation. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the facility. Red lights flashed as a computerized voice announced, "Warning, unstable quantum fluctuations detected. Possible breach in dimensional barriers imminent." Kreia's eyes widened in alarm. "The teleporter!" she exclaimed. They rushed to the machine, which was sparking and emitting an ominous hum. Jasper's hands flew over the controls, trying to stabilize it. "It's overloading!" he shouted over the noise. "The power core is going critical." "Can you shut it down?" Kreia asked urgently. Jasper shook his head. "Not enough time. It's going to blow." Without thinking, he grabbed Kreia and pulled her close, shielding her with his body just as a blinding flash of light erupted from the machine. For a moment, everything went white. Then slowly the world came back into focus. Jasper found himself lying on the floor, Kreia sprawled on top of him. Their faces were inches apart. "Are you okay?" he asked breathlessly. Kreia nodded, seemingly dazed. You protected me," she said softly. "Of course," Jasper replied. "I couldn't let you get hurt." They stared at each other for a long moment, hearts pounding. Then, slowly, Kreia leaned in. Jasper's eyes widened as he realized what was happening. He started to lean up to meet her, and then Kreia sneezed. Right in his face. Jasper yelped, jerking back and nearly cracking his head on the floor. Kreia scrambled off him, looking mortified. "I'm so sorry," she exclaimed. "I don't know what came over me. Are you all right?" Wiping his face, Jasper couldn't help but laugh. "I'm fine," he assured her. "Though I have to say, that's not quite how I imagined our first kiss going." Kreia's cheeks darkened to a deep blue. "Kiss? Is that what you were trying to do last night?" Jasper's laughter died. Yeah. Sorry about that. I guess I misread the situation." No, Kreia said quickly. "I was interested. I just didn't understand. On Zorgon 9, we express affection through synchronized bioluminescence displays." "Oh." Jasper blinked. "That actually sounds pretty cool, though I'm not sure how I'd manage it, being non-bioluminescent and all." Kreia's lips quirked up in a smile. "Perhaps we could find a compromise? I'm willing to try this kissing if you are." Jasper grinned, heart soaring. "I'd like that," he said softly. This time, when they leaned in, there were no interruptions. Their lips met in a soft, tentative kiss. Jasper felt a tingling sensation spread through him, his skin seeming to glow faintly. When they parted, both were slightly breathless. Kreia's bioluminescent patterns were swirling rapidly, creating a dazzling light show. As their lips parted, Jasper opened his eyes, expecting to see Kreia's radiant smile. Instead, he found her frozen, eyes wide with shock. She jerked away, stumbling backwards until she hit a lab table. "Kreia?" Jasper asked, confused. "What's wrong?" What? What was that? Krea's voice trembled. Her bioluminescent patterns flashed erratically, reflecting her distress. Jasper's brow furrowed. It was a kiss. You said you wanted to try it. I didn't realize it would involve fluid exchange, Krea exclaimed, wiping her mouth vigorously. Is this how humans initiate the reproductive process? What? No? Jasper sputtered. I mean, it can lead to that, but kissing isn't just about reproduction. It's a way to show affection, to express love and desire. Krea's luminescent patterns dimmed to a dull glow. Love? Desire? I don't understand. Zorgonians reproduce through a carefully controlled genetic merging process. Physical contact isn't necessary. Jasper's mind reeled. Wait, so you've never… Zorgonians don't have sex? Sex? Krea tilted her head. You mean recreational genetic material exchange? That's a myth. Some fringe scientists theorized it might be possible, but it's never been proven. Oh boy, Jasper muttered, running a hand through his hair. Okay, we need to talk. Maybe sitting down would be good. They settled into chairs, Krea maintaining a careful distance. Jasper took a deep breath, trying to figure out where to start. All right, so on Earth, humans engage in physical intimacy for a variety of reasons. Yes, reproduction is one of them, but it's not the only one. We also do it for pleasure, to bond with our partners, to express love and attraction. Krea's brow furrowed. But that's so inefficient and messy. How do you control for genetic compatibility? Jasper chuckled. We don't, really. That's what makes it exciting. It's about the emotional connection as much as the physical one. Fascinating, Krea murmured, her scientific curiosity clearly piqued. And this kissing, it's a precursor to the full reproductive act? It can be, Jasper said, feeling his cheeks heat up. But it's also enjoyable on its own. It releases chemicals in our brains that make us feel good, strengthen our bond with our partner. Krea leaned forward, eyes sparkling with interest. A neurochemical response. Now that I can understand. What other physical manifestations occur during human courtship rituals? Jasper coughed, tugging at his collar. Well, there's increased heart rate, flushed skin, pupil dilation. Intriguing, Krea exclaimed. She pulled out a data pad and began taking notes. Please continue. What about organ engorgement? I've read theories about that in some xenobiology journals. Jasper choked on air. Maybe we should save that discussion for another time, he managed, face burning. Krea looked up from her pad, disappointed. But this is valuable scientific data. Perhaps a practical demonstration would be helpful. For research purposes, of course. For research, right? Jasper muttered. He took a deep breath, steeling himself. Look, Krea, I like you. A lot. But I don't want to be just a science experiment. Human relationships. They're complicated, messy, emotional. Krea's luminescent pattern swirled thoughtfully. I see. And you believe we have the potential for such a relationship? Jasper nodded, heart pounding. I do, if you're willing to try. For a long moment, Krea was silent. Then, slowly, she reached out and took Jasper's hand. A tingling sensation spread up his arm at the contact. I find myself curiously drawn to you, Jasper, she said softly. Perhaps exploring these human customs would be a worthwhile endeavor. Jasper grinned, squeezing her hand gently. I'd like that. Over the next few weeks, Jasper and Krea embarked on a crash course in interspecies dating. There were plenty of misunderstandings and awkward moments, but also laughter and genuine connection. Krea approached their budding relationship with scientific zeal, peppering Jasper with questions about human courtship rituals and insisting on documenting every new experience in meticulous detail. So, hand-holding serves no practical purpose, she asked as they strolled through a bioluminescent garden one evening. Jasper chuckled. Not really. It just feels nice. Comforting. Kreia hummed thoughtfully, lacing her fingers more firmly with his. I suppose I can see the appeal. The skin-to-skin contact does produce a not unpleasant sensation. High praise, Jasper teased. Next thing you know, you'll be writing sonnets about the ergonomic efficiency of interlocking digits. Kreia's patterns flickered in amusement. Don't be absurd. Zorgonian poetry is based on bioluminescent light shows, not antiquated verbal structures. Oh, really? Jasper raised an eyebrow. Care to give me a demonstration? Kreia's eyes sparkled mischievously. I'm not sure you could handle my artistic expression. It might overload your primitive human senses. Jasper clutched his chest in mock offense. Primitive? I'll have you know I have very sophisticated senses, thank you very much. Prove it, Kreia challenged, stepping closer. Jasper's breath caught as she placed a hand on his chest. Her bioluminescent patterns began to swirl and pulse in mesmerizing patterns. He found himself captivated, lost in the play of light across her blue skin. Wow, he breathed. That's beautiful. Kreia's patterns glowed brighter. It's a poem about scientific discovery and the beauty of the unknown. Does it affect you? Jasper nodded, not trusting his voice. Slowly, giving her time to pull away, he leaned in and pressed a soft kiss to her lips. This time, Kreia didn't recoil. Instead, she leaned into the kiss, her patterns flaring brilliantly. When they parted, both were slightly breathless. I believe I'm beginning to see the appeal of your human customs, Kreia murmured. Jasper grinned. Just wait until I introduce you to dancing. As their relationship deepened, however, new challenges arose. Jasper found himself struggling to understand Zorgonian social cues and courtship rituals. What do you mean? You want to merge our research projects? He asked, baffled, after Kreia made what she claimed was a romantic overture. Kreia's patterns pulsed with excitement. It's a traditional step in Zorgonian courtship. By combining our scientific endeavors, we demonstrate our compatibility and commitment to mutual growth. Jasper ran a hand through his hair. That's sweet, I guess. But on Earth, we usually go on dates. Shared activities for fun, not work. But work is fun, Kreia protested. Okay, how about this, Jasper suggested. We can collaborate on a project together, but we'll also try some traditional Earth date activities. Deal? Kreia considered for a moment, then nodded. Acceptable. What did you have in mind? Jasper grinned. Ever heard of mini-golf? The resulting outing was equal parts hilarious and disastrous. Kreia approached the game with scientific precision, calculating angles and force vectors for each shot. Jasper, meanwhile, just tried to keep his ball out of the numerous water hazards. I don't understand the purpose of this activity, Kreia complained, after her ball ricocheted off a windmill blade for the third time. How does it improve our compatibility or advance scientific knowledge? Jasper laughed, retrieving her ball. It's not about that. It's about having fun together, making memories. Kreia's brow furrowed. Fun? You mean the activity itself is the goal, not any tangible outcome? Exactly, Jasper said. Haven't you ever done something just because it's enjoyable? Kreia was quiet for a moment, her patterns swirling thoughtfully. I suppose I find our conversations enjoyable, even when they don't directly relate to our research. Jasper's heart warmed. See? That's kind of the same thing. He held out the golf club. Want to try again? This time, don't overthink it. Just hit the ball and see what happens. Kreia took the club hesitantly. She lined up her shot, then swung. The ball arced through the air, bounced once and dropped neatly into the hole. Her eyes widened in surprise, then lit up with genuine joy. I did it! Jasper cheered, sweeping her into a hug. Kreia stiffened for a moment, then relaxed into the embrace, her patterns glowing brightly. "I believe I'm beginning to understand the appeal of these dates," she murmured. As they continued to navigate the complexities of their interspecies relationship, Jasper found himself falling deeper in love with Kreia. Her brilliant mind, her dry wit, the way her eyes lit up when she made a new discovery, everything about her captivated him. But a nagging doubt lingered in the back of his mind. His teleporter was nearly repaired. Soon, he'd have to decide whether to return to Earth or stay on Zorgon 9. The thought of leaving Kreia behind made his chest ache. But could their relationship really work long-term with such vast cultural differences? These worries came to a head one evening as they stargazed from the roof of the research facility. Kreia was pointing out constellations, her patterns glowing softly in the darkness. "That cluster there is called the Scientist's Quill," she explained. "Legend says it was formed when the first Zorgonian researcher cataloged the stars, and the universe itself recognized the importance of the achievement." Jasper chuckled. "Of course your constellations would be about science. On Earth, we have things like the Big Dipper and Orion the Hunter." "How charmingly primitive," Kreia teased. Then her tone grew more serious. "Jasper, your teleporter is nearly complete, isn't it?" He nodded, a lump forming in his throat. "Yeah, should be operational in a few days." Kreia was quiet for a long moment, her patterns pulsing slowly. "Will you be leaving us then?" Jasper's heart clenched. I don't know," he admitted. "My work, my whole life is back on Earth." "But—" He trailed off, unable to find the words. Kreia turned to face him, her violet eyes shimmering in the starlight. "But—" Jasper took a deep breath. "But the thought of leaving you behind, it hurts, Kreia. I think I'm falling in love with you." Kreia's patterns flared brightly, then dimmed. "Love," she repeated softly. "That nebulous human emotion. I'm not sure I fully understand it yet." Jasper's heart sank. "Oh, but," Kreia continued, reaching out to take his hand, "I find that I don't want you to leave. The thought of continuing my research without you by my side is distressing. Perhaps that's what your people call love." Joy surged through Jasper. He pulled Kreia close, kissing her deeply. This time, she responded eagerly, her patterns swirling in a dazzling light show. When they finally parted, both were breathless. Kreia's eyes sparkled with mischief and something deeper, more profound. "I believe further research into human mating rituals may be in order," she murmured. "For scientific purposes, of course." Jasper laughed, his heart soaring. "Of course," he agreed, pulling her in for another kiss. "For science." As the twin moons of Zorgon 9 rose over the horizon, casting their ethereal light over the lovers, Jasper knew he had found where he belonged. The path ahead might be challenging, but with Kreia by his side, he was ready to face whatever the universe had in store. The Zorgonian dawn painted the sky in shades of lavender and gold, casting a warm glow over Jasper as he tinkered with his newly repaired teleporter. His fingers moved deftly across the control panel, making minute adjustments. A soft chime indicated the completion of the diagnostic cycle. "It's done," he murmured, a mix of excitement and apprehension churning in his gut. "Fascinating," Kreia's melodious voice came from behind him. "Your Earth technology is quite impressive despite its quirks." Jasper turned, a retort on his lips, but the words died as he took in the sight of her. Kreia's bioluminescent patterns swirled in a mesmerizing dance, reflecting her curiosity and something deeper, an emotion Jasper was still learning to read. "Thanks," he managed, his throat suddenly dry. "Though I'm pretty sure Zorgonian tech could run circles around this old thing." Kreia's patterns flickered in amusement. "Perhaps. But there's an elegance to your solutions that we sometimes lack. It's refreshing." Jasper grinned, warmth blooming in his chest. Over the past weeks, they'd developed a unique way of expressing affection, a blend of human physicality and Zorgonian light displays. He reached out, tracing the glowing patterns on her arm. In response, Krea's luminescence intensified, sending tingles through Jasper's fingertips. "Speaking of refreshing," he said, waggling his eyebrows, "how about we take this cultural exchange somewhere more private?" Krea's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Are you proposing another experiment in interspecies relations, Dr. Henderson?" "You know me," Jasper replied, pulling her close. "Always in pursuit of scientific knowledge." Their lips met in a kiss that sent Jasper's head spinning. He'd never tire of this. The soft warmth of her mouth, the electric tingle of her bioluminescence against his skin. When they parted, both were slightly breathless. "You know," Krea murmured, "I believe I'm developing quite an appreciation for human courtship rituals." Jasper chuckled. "Just wait until I introduce you to the concept of a honeymoon." Before Krea could inquire about this new term, a shrill beeping erupted from the teleporter. Jasper whirled around, heart racing. The screen flickered to life, displaying a familiar face. "Dr. Patel?" Jasper gasped, staring at his former research partner. "Jasper! Thank God!" the woman on the screen exclaimed. "We've been searching for you for weeks. Are you all right? Where are you?" Jasper's mind reeled. I'm fine. I'm on a planet called Zorgon 9. How did you find me?" Dr. Patel launched into a technical explanation of quantum entanglement and subspace signals. Jasper listened with half an ear, his attention divided between his colleague's words and Krea's reaction. The Zorgonian scientist had gone very still, her patterns pulsing slowly. "So we can bring you home," Dr. Patel was saying. "Just keep the signal stable, and we'll have you back on Earth within 48 hours. A leaden weight settled in Jasper's stomach. "Home," he repeated, the word tasting strange on his tongue. He glanced at Krea, whose violet eyes were unreadable. "Yes, home," Dr. Patel enthused. "Your family's worried sick, and the scientific community is dying to hear about your experience. This could be the breakthrough of the century." Jasper nodded numbly. "Right. Of course. I'll keep the signal active. Talk to you soon." The screen went dark, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. "So," Krea said, her voice carefully neutral, "you'll be leaving us then?" Jasper ran a hand through his hair, frustration building. "I don't know. I mean, I should go back, right? My work, my family." "Of course," Krea agreed, too quickly. Her patterns had dimmed to a dull glow. "Your own people. It's only logical." "Krea," Jasper began, reaching for her, but she stepped back. "I should inform the council of this development," she said briskly. "Excuse me." She swept out of the lab, leaving Jasper alone with the softly humming teleporter and a growing sense of dread. The news of Jasper's impending departure spread through the Zorgonian scientific community like wildfire. Reactions were mixed. Some, like Krea's colleague Dr. Zix, were fascinated by the prospect of contact with Earth. "Think of the potential for knowledge exchange," he exclaimed, cornering Jasper in the cafeteria. "Our civilizations could advance by centuries in mere decades." Others were less enthused. Jasper overheard whispers in the corridors, saw the suspicious glances thrown his way. "Unnatural," one elderly Zorgonian muttered as Jasper passed, "disrupting the natural order of things." The tension came to a head during a formal presentation to the Zorgonian High Council. Jasper stood before the assembled dignitaries, acutely aware of Krea's absence. She'd been distant since the call from Earth, burying herself in work. "And so," Jasper concluded his speech, "I believe that establishing a permanent link between Earth and Zorgon 9 could benefit both our worlds immeasurably." A murmur rippled through the council chamber. The head counselor, a statuesque Zorgonian with intricate bioluminescent patterns, leaned forward. "An intriguing proposal, Dr. Henderson," she said, "but it raises concerns. How can we trust that your people won't exploit this connection? That they won't bring war or disease to our world?" Jasper opened his mouth to respond, but another voice cut him off. "If I may, honored counselor." Kreia strode into the chamber, her head held high. Jasper's breath caught at the sight of her. She looked radiant, her patterns glowing with determination. "Dr. Kreia," the head counselor acknowledged, "you have something to add?" Kreia nodded, taking her place beside Jasper. Her hand found his, squeezing gently. "I've worked closely with Dr. Henderson these past weeks," she began. "I've studied his physiology, his technology, and his culture, and I can say with certainty that the humans are not so different from us." She launched into an impassioned speech about the similarities between their species, the potential for mutual growth and understanding. Jasper listened in awe, his heart swelling with pride and affection. "Furthermore," Kreia continued, her voice ringing through the chamber, "I believe that Dr. Henderson and I have discovered something truly remarkable, a bridge between our worlds that goes beyond mere science." She turned to Jasper, her eyes shining. "We have found love." A collective gasp went up from the assembled Zorgonians. Jasper felt his face heat up, but he met Kreia's gaze steadily. "It's true," he said, addressing the council. "I love Kreia, and I believe our relationship proves that our species can coexist, can even thrive together." The council chamber erupted into chaos. Some Zorgonians shouted in outrage, while others voiced their support. The head counselor called for order, her patterns flashing authoritatively. "This is unprecedented," she declared once the noise had died down. "We must deliberate on this matter carefully. The council will reconvene in 3 days' time to render our decision." As they left the chamber, Jasper pulled Kreia into a quiet alcove. "That was amazing," he said, cupping her face in his hands. "You're amazing." Kreia's pattern swirled happily. "I merely stated facts, although," she added, a mischievous glint in her eye, "I may have employed some of those persuasive techniques you taught me." Jasper laughed, pressing his forehead to hers. "I love you," he murmured. "And I you," Kreia replied softly. "Whatever happens, we'll face it together." The next 3 days passed in a blur of preparations and nervous anticipation. Finally, the day of the council's decision arrived. It also happened to coincide with the start of the Festival of Unity, a traditional Zorgonian celebration of harmony and togetherness. Jasper and Kreia stood hand in hand before the council, surrounded by a sea of glowing Zorgonians. The festival atmosphere added an extra layer of tension to the proceedings. The head counselor rose, her patterns pulsing solemnly. "After much deliberation," she began, "the council has reached a decision." Jasper held his breath, squeezing Kreia's hand tightly. "We will allow the establishment of a permanent link between Earth and Zorgon 9, the counselor announced. A cheer went up from the crowd, quickly silenced by a raised hand. "However, this link will be closely monitored and regulated. And as for the matter of Dr. Henderson and Dr. Kreia's relationship," she paused, her gaze sweeping over the assembled crowd, "we have decided that love in all its forms should be celebrated. If these two can bridge the gap between our worlds, then perhaps there is hope for true unity in the universe." The crowd erupted into cheers and flashing bioluminescence. Jasper turned to Kreia, his heart soaring. "We did it," he breathed. Kreia's eyes shimmered with emotion. "Indeed we did. Now, I believe it's customary to seal such moments with a kiss?" Jasper grinned. "Who am I to argue with custom?" As their lips met, the crowd's cheers grew louder. Jasper was vaguely aware of flashing lights, not just from the Zorgonians, but from what looked suspiciously like cameras. Apparently, the council's decision had attracted some media attention. When they parted, Jasper noticed a group of humans being ushered into the chamber, the team from Earth, led by Dr. Patel. Her eyes were wide as she took in the scene. "Jasper," she called. "What's going on? Are you coming home?" Jasper looked at Kreia, then back at his colleague. "I am home," he said simply. "But we've got a lot to talk about. How do you feel about being Earth's first ambassador to Zorgon 9? As the humans and Zorgonians began to mingle, Jasper pulled Kreia close. "So," he murmured, "ready to start our grand adventure?" Kreia's pattern swirled playfully. "Always. Though I do have one question. What exactly is a honeymoon, and when can we begin that particular experiment?" Jasper laughed, spinning her around. "Oh, I think you're going to like that one. For science, of course." "Of course," Kreia agreed, her eyes sparkling. "For science." As the Festival of Unity raged on around them, Jasper and Kreia shared another kiss, their unique love blazing like a beacon of hope for both their worlds. Epilogue. 2 years later, Jasper stood in the nursery of their home, cradling a tiny bundle in his arms. The baby girl's skin was a soft periwinkle, with faint bioluminescent patterns just beginning to form. Kreia joined him, wrapping an arm around his waist. "She has your eyes," she murmured. "And your glow," Jasper replied, smiling down at their daughter. "She's perfect." As if on cue, the baby opened her eyes, a striking violet just like her mother's. She gurgled happily, tiny fingers reaching up to touch Jasper's face. "Welcome to the universe, little one," Jasper whispered. "You've got quite the legacy to live up to." Kreia's patterns pulsed with love and pride. The first of a new generation, a true bridge between worlds. As they stood there, bathed in the soft glow of Zorgon 9's twin moons, Jasper marveled at the journey that had brought him here. From a lab accident to a love that spanned galaxies, to this perfect moment with his family. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he knew they'd face them together. One small step at a time for their family. One giant leap for intergalactic relations. And all because of a kiss and a quantum leap of faith. And there you have it, dear viewers. A tale of love that transcends the boundaries of space, time, and biology. Who knew that a malfunctioning teleporter could lead to such an out-of-this-world romance? Move over, the shape of water. We've got the glow of Zorgon 9 now. Remember, folks, whether you're human, Zorgonian, or something in between, love finds a way. Just be sure to brush up on your interspecies biology before going in for that first kiss. We don't want any accidental genetic merging, do we? A huge thank you to all of you who stuck around to the end of this cosmic love story. Your support means more to us than a fresh batch of dilithium crystals to a stranded starship. Stay curious, keep exploring, and who knows? Maybe your soulmate is waiting for you on some distant planet, ready to engage in some scientific research of their own. Until next time, may your teleporters never malfunction unless it leads to true love, and may your bioluminescence always shine bright.